What did you do when you first got it?
I reviewed the entire case, and I read all of the paperwork from 1983, read all of the reports that the investigators wrote, and then in turn got in touch with Detective Swam, who retired from the Bel Air Police Department, and discussed the case with him.
How many detectives would you say this case has maybe passed through? Because I know Detective Smith had it before you.
There was, over the years, all the detectives assigned to the unit have had the opportunity to review the case, work with the family, any tips or anything that may have come in to help find closure in the case. I would assume or estimate probably somewhere in the range of at least 5 other detectives have had the opportunity to review it.
What's it like when you get a case this old? It's gone decades without answers, and technology over the course of decades has changed so much. What's it like when you don't have the crime scene to go back to, you don't have the same people living in the neighborhood to talk to. What's it like?
Well, the biggest thing is after reviewing the case and having an initial understanding of what those detectives saw that day they were called to that crime scene, the first thing I did was call one of those detectives and talk to him and understand from him, what did he see, how did he perceive it, what did they investigate, what outlets did they take, and how did they progress with the case, and take those what's the word I'm looking for? Take those investigations that they had and apply them to today and how we would investigate that crime today, or what we can do to further what they've already have.
Is it better to investigate the crime as you would today or as they would then?
Every era has had different ways to investigate crime. They've solved homicides, as far as back as when police were started, all the way, of course, until today's date. There's different technology that can be applied to every era, and what we want to do is take all of the recovered and archived evidence from the 83 era and apply it to today.
Walk me through your understanding of what happened.
On December 1st of 1983, the Bel Air Police Department was notified of a deceased person in a residence on Bedford Road. Upon the initial officers getting there and identifying that there was in fact a person deceased in the basement of the home, they contacted the investigators, who responded out to the scene to process the crime scene and handle the investigation from that point forward.
And where, from what you understand, where was she? How was she found?
The victim was found in the basement of the residence. She was, as you come to the bottom of the stairwell, a little bit to the right. Her feet were facing the stairwell. She was laying supine with the back of her head towards the ground. She was semi-clothed, and she had received a single gunshot wound.
When you read the reports and you saw that there were, there was the gunshot that killed her, and then there were extras that had been fired at different points in the home, what was your sort of initial reaction to that?
Well, many different speculations can be made as to what those other gunshots were, or why they happened, when they happened, or what caused the person holding the gun to fire those rounds. One of the things that an investigator doesn't want to get is tunnel vision and make a decision that one particular thing happened. We have to be able to look at every outlet and take every possibility into consideration when we try and find a way to close the case. It is purely speculative, but there could have been a struggle that led to the different rounds being fired inside the basement.
What's it like now? So much time has passed for this family. What was it like when you first had to call the family and start asking them questions and sort of creating a relationship with them?
The family was very cooperative. They were very happy to hear that somebody, had taken over the case from the previous detective, and that, I wanted to reach out to them and build a relationship and understand, where is the family at today? what can I do to work with the family to help this family find closure in the case. They have volunteered anything they can do to assist me. They have, we've established, talking to each other on a regular basis. And of course, if I have any questions, they are open to talking to me and helping us in any way they can to do anything for the case for their family member.
And for you, I mean, you are young, and this case it happened, many years ago, and theoretically, if this doesn't get solved, it'll get passed on to another detective who might even be younger, and then so on and so forth. And is there some sort of, what do you feel about that? What's your...
I think that fresh eyes on any case are a good ass. Yeah, what's the way to say that? Scratch that. I think.
Fresh eyes are beneficial.
There you go. I think fresh eyes on any case are beneficial. I think that every investigator has a different way that they like to approach things, and every investigator brings something to the table that can be beneficial to any case, whether it be a theft or a homicide. And working together and putting all those ideas, in one pot and stirring it together can help us find closure or help us, end this case.
And one of the things that's available to you now that wasn't available then is a lot of DNA technology. How have you been using that?
Well, we have taken some of the archived evidence and submitted it for analysis with the technology that we have in 2011. Not all the evidence has been submitted. However, we're doing on a step-by-step basis and intend on having it all analyzed and do anything we can to find any more information that could lead us to further investigative outlets in the case.
What do you hope will come of that?
I hope that we can identify a suspect and that we can make contact with this person and find out exactly what happened that day and why this family has been put through the agonizing pain and the mental anguish that they've had to deal with over the years.
What is the sense of responsibility you feel now that you have this case and you're in charge of it?
Any type of major crime is, the responsibility is huge. I want to do everything I can to investigate it with every resource we have. I want to, talk to every person that needs to be interviewed, and I want to have all the evidence analyzed to the farthest extent that we can take it. Being in a major crimes unit for the criminal investigations, we investigate many cases, and I take every case has equal importance to me. There's not one case that means more than another, and every single case gets looked at with the same magnifying glass and fine-tooth comb, and want to do everything I can to close that folder and put that case away forever.
Do you believe that there are people out there who have information, witnesses who maybe don't think that what they saw was important and haven't come forward, or maybe somebody who's afraid to come forward? What would you want to say to those people? I
believe that somebody out there has information about this case, whether it's something they believe is not important, as could be a car that they saw that day. It could be a person they saw walking down the sidewalk. It could be a random conversation they heard in a restaurant. It could be a telephone call. They heard someone talking on the telephone as they walked by, a telephone booth. It could be anything, and anything that you can think of that, if as small as you may think it is, call and talk to me about it. We want to make sure that every single tip, every single idea, every single, anything people are wondering is going to be looked at. And if anybody out there knows anything about this case, we want you to contact us here at the Bel Air Police Department and tell us what you know, and we will work together. You can remain completely anonymous and help us find an end and close this case for this family.